James here, and I'm with Adam, and we're going to tell you about the different types of cover in 40k 9th edition.
So there are 3 different types of cover in this edition of the game. There is light cover, heavy cover, and dense cover, and each one has a very different impact on the game. So first of all, we'll talk about light cover, which is the one that most people are going to be familiar with. If you're shooting at somebody that's getting the benefit of light cover, then that model gets +1 to their saving throw against ranged attacks, but it doesn't benefit invulnerable saves. So that's pretty big. A +1 to your armor save against ranged attacks is huge, but it's very important that every model must be within that cover feature in order to get the benefits of it. You can't have like 2 models off of it, they're not going to get the benefit. However, now we also have something called heavy cover. Now it's possible for a piece of terrain to be both light cover and heavy cover. In fact, it can be light cover, heavy cover, and dense cover. It can be all 3. So that's a huge piece. And typically at the start of the game, you're going to denote which piece of cover is which with your opponent so you both agree on it. Heavy cover works in a very similar way to light cover, but only against close combat attacks. It gives you +1 to your saving throw, not for invulnerable saves, for the models that are within heavy cover. Now, there is some confusion about the way the rulebook was printed that they covered in the errata that specified only non-charging models get that benefit. Which means if I've got some models in heavy cover and you charge me, then I'm going to get +1 to my saving throw, and you will not get +1 to your saving throw because you charged. But in subsequent turns, we're both going to get that benefit. So that's something that's well worth knowing, because after that you've dug in and we're ready to fight. But it was very confusing when it was first printed, so it's important for people to understand that difference. And then the last thing is dense cover. Now dense cover is huge. This is sort of like forests and things like that, where there's a lot of overgrowth. With dense cover, if somebody's targeting somebody that is completely within dense cover, then you're going to get -1 to shoot that model. Unless you're shooting from within 3 inches of the piece of cover. So I don't have to be in the cover, I can actually be up to 3 inches outside of it, and I'm not going to get -1 to shoot you if you're inside. And the only thing that stops me getting that -1 to hit is if the model is completely visible by my model. So there needs to be at least some of the terrain, like a little rock or something over your foot. But if I can trace a line 1 millimeter thick from my model to every part of yours, then that model does not get the benefit of cover. And remember, I only need 1 model to not being in cover, so 1 model that I can see the entire thing of the model to be able to shoot the entire unit. So that's a huge piece to understand. So essentially there are 3 different types of cover. It's light, heavy, and dense. Dense cover is going to give them -1 to hit unless they're within 3 inches of it, or of course in the terrain feature itself. Light cover is going to give you +1 to a save against shooting attacks, but not to invulnerable saves. And the heavy cover is going to give you +1 to your armor saves in close combat, unless you are the person charging. Beyond that, that's about it. Hopefully that explains and clarifies it. And trust me, you're going to have a much better game if every time when you sit down to play Warhammer 40,000, you and your opponent both discuss what all the rules of cover are on the battlefield.
Thanks for watching. If you have any questions or you want to know more about Warhammer 40k, leave a comment down below. I will go through them and we will answer them right here for you.